Alright, so on the screen we got the arrival of the Super Falcons of Nigeria, and this is in Bordeaux, France, where they will be playing their first match of the Olympic Games. And this was from yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. They were slated to arrive in Bordeaux, France, 11 p.m. Nigerian time, and that was on their Air France flight. The team is coming off some camping that they did in Seville, Spain. They spent a few days there. Of course, the camping didn't get off to the best start. They had issues with visas and players coming late, but it all came together. They played that final match against Canada, the test situation, I guess. They played the 90 minutes and the penalty shootout, and the next day they got on the plane and voila, they're here. And of course, we're less than a week away from the team's first match in the competition. They're grouped alongside Brazil, Spain, and Japan. Their first match will be against Brazil this coming Thursday, the 25th of July. And funny enough, that will be the only game that we'll be playing in Bordeaux for now. After that, we're going to move to Nantes, and we're going to play the next two matches over there. Now in this video, we're going to step away from the competition real quick and talk about two players who have just recently made moves. Midfielder Toni Payne and forward Vivian Ikechukwu now have new clubs, and we're going to be talking about that real quick. But first, please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you very much. So we're going to start with Vivian Ikechukwu, since her move was announced yesterday. A few days ago, she announced that she was leaving Besiktas. She had joined them last year, January last year, and her time was up at the club. I believe her contract ran out, and she announced her leaving from the club. And yesterday, it was announced by Cruz, Azul, a Mexican club, a club in the Mexican women's top flight. They announced her signing. Now, I haven't seen anything dealing with terms of contract, but we know that she is with the club. So a little bit of background on Vivian Ikechukwu. Of course, she has played for the Super Falcons, was part of the last women's AFCON team. She started a career in Nigeria. She has played for the Abia Angels. She has played for the Rivers Angels. They won the league title, and also I think they won the ITL Cup also, Rivers Angels, but the league title was the most important one. They ended up going to the CAF Champions League, the Women's Champions League, and they were the first Nigerian club to play in that competition. And after the Nigerian League, she moved to Lithuania. She played for Gentra FC over there, had a crazy season. I believe it was like 14 goals, 14 assists in 20 matches. And she won them a league title. I believe like their 21st league title ever. That was her first season. Then from there, she moved to Besiktas. That was January of last year. She had a pretty good time over there. Don't really know the numbers, but I know she scored some goals over there, did a little 1-2 over there. But now she makes the move to Cruz, Azul in Mexico. With the Mexican League, they got like 2 seasons. They got one they call the Apertura, which lasts from July to December, and they got the Clausura, which lasts from January to May. And they just finished the Clausura, and they're starting up. They've already started up. They're like 1 or 2 games in the Apertura. The good news is they have won their first game of this season, but the bad news is they were not that good last season. They were like one of the last teams in the league last season, so they definitely need to improve. That's probably the reason why they're bringing in a player like Vivian Ikechukwu. I feel like the Mexican League has been doing pretty well for the Super Falcons lately. You got Uchenna Kanu, who went to the Mexican League, did her thing, won the league title, got a big move back to the U.S. where she went to school. And it was real nice for her. I've even seen a lot of not a lot though, but 1 or 2 American players go from college to Mexico, then later on an American team comes there and plucks them from there. I've seen that happen a couple of times. We also have Osinachi Ohale and Chiwendu Ihezu on the same club in Mexico. So we're building a little something in Mexico. I feel like it's a good league, a tough league. Mexico, even the Mexican women's national team, maybe they get overshadowed a lot by the American women's national team, but there are no slouches. Of course, we played them. The last time we played them, we lost by a goal to nil. I felt like we could have done better in that match, but take none away from the quality that they have. So for me, it's not the worst move possible. And with them signing Vivian Ikechukwu, I've seen they've signed a couple of more players. It shows that they're trying to improve. So I would be expecting them to at least be better than they were last season. But for me, if I was to grade this move, I'd give it a B+. Of course, they're not the best team, so yeah, you're kind of taking a risk with that one. You could have a really underwhelming season team-wise, which could creep into your individual performances. But at the same time, I do feel like this is just a great opportunity. You're in a credible league for once. No disrespect to the Turkish and the Lithuanian league, but the Mexican league is seen in a higher regard than those leagues. Then you're also closer to the head coach of the Super Falcons. That is, if he is still the head coach after the Olympics, Randy Waldrum. Of course, in the United States, you're in the neighboring country in Mexico. But moving on to the Toni Payne move. Last but not least, I guess, Toni Payne announced that she was leaving Sevilla. That was a club that she had spent like 6 seasons at. She announced that she was leaving them less than a week ago, 6 days ago. And then today we got Everton coming out and announcing that Toni Payne has signed with the club. So just like the Vivian situation, no terms announced. But we do know, as you see right here, Toni Payne has joined Everton Football Club and will be playing with them at least next season. So she's coming off a great season with Sevilla last term, scoring 6 goals with 4 assists. Of course, Toni is a player that can play anywhere. She can play as a fullback, she can play as a wing back, midfielder, forward, whatever you want her to do, she's going to be awesome at it. Now, Everton is honestly like a middle of the pack team in the WSL, the Women's Super League. They finished 8th out of 12 teams last season. From face value, their issues were really scoring goals. You can see they scored 24 goals. And only 2 teams had less goals than Everton last season. That was West Ham at 11th position and Bristol City at 12th position. Both scored 20 goals in 22 matches. Now, to rate the move, I'd say I give it like a B-. I feel like she went to a good league, a great league. The WSL, one of the best leagues in the world. So that one is good right there. But the club, I don't know how competitive they'll be. I don't know how serious they are about making the team a true competitor in the league. Because you look at the top teams in the league, Chelsea, Man City, Arsenal, even Liverpool and Manchester United. These teams are pretty much going to be up there. This isn't like the men's game where even though you spend so much money, somebody who spends less can just squeeze in there. But at the same time, I don't know. I couldn't see Toni Payne going to any of these top teams in the league. I feel like she's that type of player that wants to be the underdog, wants to go against the big dog. I don't think she likes to be the big dog per se, because you go back like a few years, she turned down Barcelona, and that was when Barcelona was hot. So she got that kind of mentality that she wants to go against the best. She doesn't want to team up with them. So I think that kind of played a part in her picking Everton instead of even a Liverpool or something like that. But let me know your thoughts on these 2 moves right here. Vivian Ikechukwu moves from Besiktas in Turkey to Cruz, Azul in the Mexican women's top flight. Then you got Toni Payne, Super Falcons midfielder, moving from Sevilla to Everton in the WSL, the Women's Super League in England. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank y'all for watching. Peace.